Zeri, the spark of Zorn. Raised in a large working-class family, Zeri grew up surrounded by warmth, care, and many strong opinions. They were no strangers to hardship, having lost loved ones to Zorn's dangers. Even so, their community was their strength. From birth, Zeri had a unique relationship with electricity. Each giggle caught a spark, each cry, a shock. Magic wasn't rare in Zorn, but Zeri's electric charm was. It charged with her emotions, sometimes grounded, sometimes building to fierce and fiery. By her teenage years, her neighbors knew she was more likely the cause of power outages than a broken circuit. Life in Zorn was beautiful chaos, her grandma would say, and Zeri embodied that all too well. Not everyone found her quirks endearing. To family and friends, Zeri was a lovable mess. To others, she was simply a mess. During occasional outbursts where her stray currents shattered a street lamp or 2, or 12, Zeri thought she'd even see flashes of something, or someone, but there was no time to dwell. She wished she had better control of her volatile powers. Her determination was there, but her patience could have used some work. Still, with every spark came an opportunity. One night while Zeri strolled through the Entrezel markets, the ground rattled from underground excavations that soon swelled into a destructive quake. She wasted no time zooming past fallen buildings to rescue trapped victims. As her world slowly crumbled, Zeri became a furious blur. She knew the Chem Barons had mining facilities nearby that were installed after they'd claimed to have discovered resources better than Hextech, but what they did not reveal were the risks of their uncontrolled digging. The faster Zeri moved, the more charged she became. She thrived under pressure, realizing what her powers could do and how much her neighborhood meant to her, even if it meant nothing to the Barons. After the dust settled, survivors gathered to thank Zeri. Beneath her relief was anger. Zeri knew she could have saved more if she had better command of herself. What Zeri did accomplish was sure to catch the attention of the Barons. She knew they wouldn't think twice about who they went through to get to her, and she couldn't risk others getting hurt. Not again. To guard them from herself, Zeri scoured the mining disaster's wreckage and constructed a jacket to contain her electricity and avert the Baron's gaze. Now she could restrain her gift to protect those in need. Walking the damaged streets, Zeri saw broken faces. Families scrambled to rebuild, and Zeri lent her hand, doing all she could without her powers. But the more she helped, the more she witnessed. Workers struggled to jumpstart generators. Parents toiled to make meals with broken stovetops. These people didn't have anyone standing up for them, let alone someone with a gift like hers. She knew her district, and those like it, would never truly be safe if things stayed the way they were. The Barons saw them as nothing more than objects to be neglected and resources to be bled. Zeri knew what had to be done. She couldn't wait for the next mining accident. She had to take the fight to the Barons. Zeri was a one-woman force, sending shockwaves through Zorn. Word spread of Chem Baron supply lines being destroyed, with reports of lightning striking faster than the eye could see. Enraged at their losses, the local Barons formed a rare alliance, and their combined power trounced Zeri wherever she went. She tried to adapt, to strike faster, but against the Barons' endless resources, it wasn't enough. She retreated with her body broken and her powers fizzling. The Barons were united. She was alone. As she headed home, Zeri expected disappointment from those she let down. But what welcomed her was family, friends, and people she'd never met, all standing up to fight their oppressors. From their rebuilt homes came rediscovered courage. Zeri had never felt so inspired, yet it was she who had inspired them. She was the spark that ignited their fire. And she was no longer alone. With the help of their neighbors, Zeri's mother had fashioned her a rifle made of materials given by those Zeri fought for, the people of the Entrezel. The gun's ammo was Zeri's emotions, its conductive barrel amplifying her powers directly from her hands. Paired with her jacket, she could better control her voltage, charging up to shoot precise, or, at least, somewhat precise, electric bursts. Zeri gazed warmly at her family and her neighbors. She thought she'd lose them all in her efforts to fight back, but because she stood up for them, they stood up with her. Backed by her community, Zeri fights for those who cannot. Zorn is not perfect, and neither is Zeri, but sometimes a spark is all it takes to change the world.